Welcome to another video of the Volleyball Data Lab. I'm your host Tyler. Today we're going to go over the brush input in Shiny. I have some pre-built code. Doing it from scratch would take way longer, so we're going to load the data that I've went through in other videos. We're going to load some libraries that we haven't seen before. We're going to load something called Shiny Dashboard and Shiny Dashboard Plus. These are two libraries that give you additional features within the Shiny framework, and we want to use the brush input. The brush is associated with the first Shiny library. So we're going to load the data. Currently, I have ACC loaded. Maybe I'll change it up. I'll go to Big Ten. So I've been testing this, and actually, you know what? Let's just run the whole thing and you can see what I'm doing, and then we'll go through the code, so that way you have a visual of what's happening. And this is not going to load up correctly because I did that. I mean, it will load up, but it's not going to load up the Big Ten. That's fine. Let's just check it out. Let's just see what this does. So what this does is it gives you a serve and start zone. You can select, deselect, like so, and you're going to select a team like we've seen before in the other videos, the Shiny videos I put on. And you can select, it's only one team at a time here. You can switch it. I personally used one right now. And then we have a new one. It's a rotation. Rotation 2, setter in 6. Rotation 3, setter in 5, etc., etc. And then we have a select match. And it throws up all the matches that they've played from 17 to 22. So, in conference play, we better associate that because Louisville, I think they did pretty good one of these years. So, now there's nothing happening. So this is what the brush input does. If you're associated or familiar with the volumetrics reporting system or the stats system, basically you click and drag and you highlight, and a bunch of stuff shows up. So that is what we're going to go over, is how to put something together like this. Now, this is in no way a perfect production-worthy, I'd say, a production-worthy use. This is more of an introduction. Hey, this is how to make this work with the table, with the plots, with a heat map. As you can see, the reception side is on the bottom, the attack side is on the top, and we have a table on the other side that has attack attempts, kill percentage, efficiency. You could throw in an expected kill percentage, you could throw in a team column, you could throw in a whole bunch of stuff that will make it cooler, bigger, more friendly for what you might need it for. If you wanted to create multiple plots and highlight one brush, you could do that, similar to the volumetrics. But this one, I only have one. You can do two. You can break it up however you want. It's pretty cool. So I did it by zones and subzones for the reception, so you could see like, oh wow, there's a lot of receptions happening in zone 5, or 7A, 5B, but not so much, as you can see, in like maybe 8C, or like 1C90. So you can kind of compare and look at the kill percentage and the attempts that occur within that heat map. So if you highlight this whole thing, it's not super pretty. Something I could have done that I didn't do was go by attack combo and have a fixed attacking start location. That's something that you can do. That's something you can add. It's a little more time consuming, but this is what we got so far. So yeah, that's what it's going to look like. Let's just run through it. I changed this up. So first off, we're going to load these libraries, load the data. Let's make this a little bit bigger so you can kind of see. All right. So first off, I have my data, Big Ten. And I'm going to add a bunch of more columns. And these are columns you could throw into the parsing file. I probably should have when I originally did this, and I didn't. That's all right. So what I do is I create an opponent column, a match column, which basically I'm saying pull the date and the opponent and put it together so it creates a match. So it kind of looks, let's do this. So let's run that whole thing. That is interesting. That didn't work. I don't know why. Oh, it's because it's named data. Hello. All right, so now you can see that's what the match looks like. DVXY, so to create that reception heat map, you need the coordinates of the end zone and the subzone. And that's a nice feature in the data volley package. So we need the previous skill from the current skill being performed. I'm going to call that previous skill, and I'm going to say lag skill. And I could also say lag skill 1. I'm just going to say lag skill. Same thing for the previous skill and the third previous skill. Same thing with team ID. And then end zone is for the reception end zone. So now currently I believe I am using this attack reception zone. Am I using this? So right now I'm not using either of these. So we could easily do that. We don't need them. We want to get the start zone for the serve because as you saw, I had an association with the start zone with that drop down. I actually didn't talk about that, I don't think, but and then we want the previous player. I don't think I used this. I was using it. Let's see. I was using it to get receptions, but I ultimately decided that it was not working well. So we're going to take that out because, yeah, we're just going to take it out straight up. All right. And then we have the attack starting zone, or excuse me, the starting zone on the serve for the attack. So this is all based on first ball side out. I'm going to change all the start zones to simplify the serve zones. If it's a 7, I change it to 5. If it's a 9, I change it to 1. I don't do anything with the reception or the coordinates. I just use the straight up zone because that's what I want to do. And then I create a setter position. And then I create XYs for the reception. And you can see I use the DVXY. Let's see, actually. Oh yeah, this is right. So I'm saying, look at the attacks, and the previous skill is reception, and the previous team ID is equal to the current team ID. If all that's true, return the previous DVXY, which is that, which should be on the reception because the previous skill is reception. So I do all that for the mutating, and then I filter by attack. So I have the receptions. So that's what I do. This is for the shiny part. I won't go over the inputs. I went over that in the other videos. So yeah, go watch those other videos. So then when I get done with the inputs, I make my plot output. I haven't gone over plot outputs. I only went over data tables. That's all right. It's the same sort of concept. It's a little different, same concept. Same framework, you just say plot output instead of DT output. Either way, I do a plot output and I do a brush equals brush. And now that brush in quotations, that's a name of the input. Similar to like the input ID, but it's the brush ID. So, and then I change my plot to height 800 because I want it nice and big. And then I make a data table brush. So that is the body I build this a little bit backwards for this scenario, and then I build the UI, and I just do that, and then you just throw in the body right there. So there's different ways you can do shiny. It's pretty cool. You could also do it in a module, which is more of a different way to do it. So from here, we look at the shiny server. So now we get to the shiny server. So we create the reactive logic, and we've done that before. So I'm going to close that out. Now we have the plot portion. So let's make it bigger so we can see. So we have the plot. All right. The plot is what we're brushing. We're brushing the lower half, but you can brush the top half. You can also filter, similar to volumetrics, the bottom portion if you brush the top. I didn't do that for this particular example. So the way this works is, okay, I'm going to create an object called filtered brush. So I take the data, the main data, the DF, the ACC, the B10, the main data. So right up here, I name all this mutating data. So I take data, right? I'm going to take it, and then I'm going to do my filtering with my inputs. And then I'm going to group. This is the important part. You have to group by what you want. So I'm grouping by the bottom portion with the heat map. I'm going to group by the XY, reception X, reception Y. And then I'm going to group by what I'm filtering on this attack serve zone. And then I want the end zone for the attacks. So I'm going to group by the attacks end zone on the XY. And I want to know if it was a pokey, a shot, or a hard hit. So skill subtype, I group by that. And then I need the start positioning for the attack. So I group also by the start coordinate of the XY. And then I just do a count. So this is what it looks like without the filter. Just do that. And you can see that's all it looks like. Boom. You can also throw in player name. I didn't do that. Possible. If you were gonna filter by a player name, then you wouldn't. Depending on what you want to do with it, you might want to group by it or not. I don't know. So now I'm going to filter by the same stuff. And I'm going to change that. I'm going to name that filter brush. And then I'm going to do the same thing, except I'm going to name this filter brush reception. Right? So same thing, same filtering, but this time I'm only grouping by the XY. And then I'm doing a summarize because you saw, actually, you know what? Let's just run this one more time so you could, as I talk through this, we can kind of see what I'm talking about here. So we're right here, right? So I want to just do that. Oh, I need a match. What is going on here? Everything's broken because I didn't do this right. Because it's thinking I have the ACC, but I don't. Try that again. Okay. There you go. So now we can do that. So you see, all right, so where was I? I was right here. So you can see, I do the filter brush reception on the right there, and group by the reception XY, so I can get the attack totals and the kill percentage in those given serve zones. That is why I throw that in there. So, and then, all right, so I have filter brush and filter brush reception. So you could it'd probably make more sense if I said attack here, but I just call it filter brush. So, then we're going to call brushed points. And we're going to call filter brush reception, input brush, because there's only one input brush. And it is going to give me a reception X. And this is the important part, the XVAR. Whatever you are brushing, you have to have the XVAR and the YVAR, the variable. what is being brushed, the reception X and the reception Y, and that is what is returning the data. Same thing for reception. So now this is the extra second most important part. So I'm combining two different plot types. It's kind of cool. I really like doing this because I think it's kind of fun to kind of see the zones combined with the dots. To combine the zones and the dots, you're going to need to create two different objects. You create a ggplot. You don't put anything inside at the beginning. And from there, you just go straight on down. GG chord it. And then the reception portion, excuse me. All I do is do the brush attack reception, and then do my XY, and then I fill by my reception attempt. This interpolate, this is important for GM roster if you want it to look the way I made it. And the rig gradient, the fill gradient, same thing. This is a long video, dang. And then you're going to do a GM text for the reception attempts and the kill percentage. See if we can't get done in the next 2 minutes or so. Yeah, but the thing is, if you do it this way, you have to specify what the data is every time. I didn't have to do it there, but I had to do it here and here and here. And now we're going to the attack portion. I have this brush attack, which communicates with the rest of it. So my data is brush attack. I push enter here because it's kind of big. So I'm doing a segment. So that's what all the lines are. And I have a end zone, start zone, or start coordinate, and end coordinate. And then I have a color and a line type. I do want to show the legend, and then I make an arrow, so it kind of looks like an arrow. So you can see there's an arrow, and then I actually throw in a geom point as well, just to kind of like you can kind of see the blue a little bit better. So really, you don't need the arrow. You probably could take that off because I'm doing the point. So the arrow doesn't matter. And then I do a theme, which basically plot margin. Title. Actually, I don't really know why I have this down here. You could probably take that off, I think. I don't actually know what will happen if I take that off, I'll be honest. Let's check it out. And then so let's just review the data table. We'll run it one more time, check it out, and call it good. It's a long video, my bad. So we have brush, excuse me. So to do the data table combined with the plots, it's a little tricky. So you call the brushed points, but this time you go straight into data. Actually, I lied. You have to make this reactive. I do not know why I did this. I found an answer somewhere and I did it and it worked, and I said I'm happy enough with that. But I don't know how it works, and that kind of bugs me. I don't know how it works. I just know it does. So we have data 2, input brush. So we have a reactive. We're doing this inside of a reactive here. Let's minimize. Let's get rid of this. Not that. Let's go here. Plot portion data table. There we go. So up here, I made a reactive. Where is it? Reactive logic. So right here, I make a reactive element or object. So we're making a reactive object, and to make a reactive object, it kind of makes sense. I'm looking at the brush and I'm calling it data 2. Brush points. I probably... Yeah, I could... Yeah, okay. Yeah, I could throw this right here if I want. And it should, in theory, work. Where's that? Where was I looking? Sorry. You spent it's 2.5 minutes looking at me think. Brush points. I really wish I knew exactly this, what was happening here. So I have my data, and I'm doing my filtering and my group buying and my summarize. So inside the table, this is where you want to do your table work. Expected side out percentage, expected kill percentage. What other metrics do you want to add? You could throw in. Yeah. And then we're saying and then do the filtering, the reactive filtering for input brush. So wherever the brush was located, that's where I want you to filter. And that's why this is here. So and then I call that DAT. And then I drop the groups. So that's important to drop the groups, because what I do here, now I put the DAT in the data table as a reactive input, but you got to make sure to put it in double parentheses or it breaks. And then you just do another pipe, and then you just group by player name, and then you throw everything in there you want. As you can see up here, I do not do scales or a percent or any dividing metrics. I just grab the raw numbers. So if you had like some expected numbers, you might want to do like expected kills equals some expected kill percent or whatever it is that you named it. And then when you come down here, you would do like expected kill percent, and it would be a sum xk divided by attack attempt. It'd be something like that. So if you were going to throw in some expected stuff, that's how you would want to do it. Expected side out, similar. So yeah, you got to make sure you parentheses this. You don't need anything inside. And then you just do your normal group by, and then this is your data table portion. Sorry, that was a lot of talking to explain all that. So I did make a few changes on some stuff. Let's run it one more time. And then, you know, I think the most important part is watching minute 21 through 25, right? So yeah, you could select the start zone. You could select your team. We could select Wisconsin. We could select, let's hit up rotation 1. And this is kind of big. We could deselect all. You know, there is a way to have a group selection by the year. It is a cool feature. I didn't add that. But you could do something like, let's just look at all the postseason stuff. Oh yeah, this is conference only. I forgot about that. So you can select one specific team if you want, or select 7. This is really big right now because I have it big mode. You just select the highlight, and there you are. It returns the players that attacked. Yeah, the players that attacked. And I actually filtered the attacks greater than 5 because I was getting a bit of noise. So yeah, you can take that out, obviously. Throw in a couple more, see if there's any other players. It looks like these 2 players are the main go-tos in receiving the right side. It's interesting. If we do this, we get a lot more. This actually should be grouping by the players that attacked. In rotation 1, there we go. That's why that's happening, is because I'm only looking at rotation 1. If I select all, you're going to see a lot more players. I hope. At least 3 or 4, right? So yeah, that was for those 10 matches. Change your rotations, etc., etc. See where they're attacking. That's the plot brush. Yeah, long video for that. Not pleased with the amount of time it took me to do this, but I hope it's useful. I hope someone can take this and be like, dang, that's pretty cool. Make it their own, make it better, make it useful, make it prettier, have cooler functionality. That's the idea. Introduce, test, learn, build upon, make it better, do something cooler. You could throw in heat maps on the other side. You could throw in dot plots on the bottom. You could throw in multiple plots and highlight one, brush plot one, it'll filter the other plots. All sorts of stuff. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Go at it.